So yes, I'm the operations manager from Lifelink, and I'm just going to talk a wee bit around what Lifelink put in place and how we've been operating since lockdown. So those that don't know, Lifelink provide a range of mental health support and wellbeing services for adults and young people living in Glasgow and surrounding areas. We also deliver a distress brief intervention service within North Lanarkshire and employee counselling services to a range of third and private sector companies. Our service provides face-to-face counselling, group work therapy, group work classes and wellbeing classes. And since the coronavirus lockdown has prevented clients from attending our venues across Glasgow, we and also kept young people at home away from school, that we would normally be seeing clients face to face in school and in our venues. So we moved our entire team of over 70 counsellors, therapists and support staff online, and have so far within lockdown delivered over 5,900 telephone counselling sessions to adults and young people, and that's to existing and or new clients that have been referred within the period. The number that also includes around 2,200 sessions to young people, and also a continuation of our pioneering British Sign Language counselling service via video sessions. Okay, so that's a wee bit about the background. So the kind of next slide then is the impact, the initial impact of lockdown into our clients and to the service. So obviously in the last week of March, people across the nation were having to spend a lot of time at home and quickly acclimatised to spending an increased amount of time within their house and their home indoors. Disruptions to everyday life were far-reaching and are still far-reaching. Isolation of living at home for those that connected daily with support services, family and loved ones, are now isolated and living with the unknown and uncertainty of the future. And while some have had to become accustomed to working from home every day, others have not been able to work at all. And the way in which our lives have transformed in such a short space of time has heavily impacted our daily routines and is likely to for some time to come. Our lives have been transformed unimaginably, and our mental well-being is likely to be impacted for some time to come, till we know the end, where the end is. So the next slide. Well, I think this one is in bullet points. So yeah, so we had to adjust to lockdown, and that meant we had to contact every client currently engaged in the service. If you, I think it's on points, Ian, sorry, you need to press to move it on. So we adjusted our internal processes and practices to be as flexible as possible, and we contacted every client offering telephone counselling as an alternative service to the one-to-one and or to group work that they may have been receiving at that point. Some of the challenges clients faced were workarounds, not being able to find a safe space in their house to have a confidential discussion. So we worked with them to get around this by suggesting taking their daily exercise, taking a walk at that time, and being able to have that private space, or just finding a place in the garden if that was accessible to them, or even just putting a sign on a door and speaking with their family to allow for that space and that wee bit of time that they weren't disturbed. We also had to contact all the schools to ensure that additional consents were put in place and given so that we could contact young people at home, just ensuring that we weren't contacting any young person at home and causing more issue than good. We offered a service to those not wanting to engage formally, but would maybe like the opportunity to speak to someone in the moment, or just have that listening ear. So we kind of relaxed our service to allow for that. Yeah, and quite a lot of clients at this point chose not to engage as well, feeling that it was something different. They were used to face-to-face and coming to venues and weren't too sure what the service would bring for them. So many clients chose not to engage at this time as well. Okay, so moving on to the next slide. So our services are available, and we are currently offering telephone counselling to adult and young people, and have been since the 23rd of March. Because of our previous investment into our hardware and the use of Teams, the telephone, our digital technology, it was quite straightforward and quite seamless for us to transfer to home working. We were able to maintain capacity to deliver, but we did experience some drop off in referrals, as well as some clients not wanting to engage. And I suppose some clients were saying they would like to wait until things were back to normal, but as we yet don't know when that may be, we continue to keep in touch with clients and offer and make sure they are aware that it's an open door policy and that they can re-engage anytime. So the reduction in demand has helped push us to look at what our service is. We've started to look at new approaches. So we've now got the video Skype counselling for the BSL. We're bringing in video counselling for all clients now, and that has been brought in since the 4th of May. We've looked at a telephone helpline for young people, and we're currently looking at expanding that to adults as well, because we are noticing a difference in clients that are coming into the service, which I'll talk a wee bit about in the next slide. We're also conscious that the groups and our wellbeing and stress management classes are of real benefit to clients, and they have been something that's on hold. So we've now developed webinars and are looking to deliver them as of this week. So we have our first one booked in for Thursday. And we've offered a more relaxed service so that anybody calling that might not want to engage formally with the service, but maybe needs someone to speak to in the moment, that they pass directly through to one of our therapists for a less formal approach, more of a listening ear. Although they will be offered a single session and or ongoing appointments if that's what they would require or need. So not surprisingly, people's normal reactions have changed, how some of the presenting issues are masked, and we are finding that we're seeing a lot of people within the lower bracket of our core score, core form, which I'll tell you a wee bit about in a moment, and also some in the higher bracket as well, so looking for more intensive support. We have had some feedback already that the services that we are providing just now are helpful, and some clients are finding them much easier to talk to a therapist over the phone than they may have done face-to-face, and I'll share some of those comments in a moment with you. So the next slide is what our service is offering, so what someone can expect when they come into the service. So all clients that accessing the service are assessed by a counsellor, and they complete a core form, which is a clinical outcome evaluation tool, and this assesses need and risk. And within lockdown, we have been encouraging as many people to access the service as possible, and also offering the service for some that are anxious, worried, but don't want a formal counselling service. So some clients calling and assessed have had core scores below the kind of boundary bracket of 11, which would suggest a mild level of stress and well-being. So some came in at a number 2 and a number 9, which we would generally offer our wellbeing classes, but obviously as we don't have them at the moment, we're able to access a therapist and get what they want from the service at the time. As I said earlier, we've also seen some clients coming in with a higher range, so we've had some 30 plus clients which are obviously in distress and could be at risk. So we've supported these clients to access services such as GPs, local supportive organisations and NHS 24, and also offered individual counselling sessions with Lifelink. Traditionally, Lifelink clients would sit between the brackets of 12 and 25, but presently we're supporting clients within every bracket within the core range. Okay, so our next slide then is what else and what next, and what we're continuing to do. So our telephone and video counselling will continue post-COVID-19, as feedback from clients has been good. Some have stated that they prefer the telephone to attending a venue. Webinars for wellbeing classes from the 1st of June, covering topics such as lockdown fatigue, emotional resilience, future delivery, and we'll be delivering fuller courses moving forward. We're just working out some of the logistics of that, how it works in a webinar. Should we change the session timing and the length of sessions that should be delivered? So we're currently working on that at the moment. The fuller courses, once up and running, will cover emotional awareness, stress management, overcoming anxiety and low mood, and also looking at relationships and communications. So I've just, final slide is just a bit of feedback from clients that have accessed the service during lockdown. Some have said that they feel they got more out of the telephone counselling than they would have face-to-face. And others found it more relaxing than going somewhere new. Now got the comfort of their own home. And another has stated that she feels more aware and engaged in the last few weeks, feels the mindset has changed, and that's given a better understanding of what's going on in her head. And she'd never done face-to-face counselling before, but over the phone has been marvellous and hugely helpful for her. And then the last comment there is, it's been better for me over the phone because I can get quite teary when I'm face-to-face. So the telephone counselling again has been more beneficial for these clients. So thank you very much for that. That concludes my presentation today. Thank you.